I'm now going to do a review on the Kenmore washer. I've had this washer actually for 3 years. I'm going to take a look here. I'll show you the model number and serial so you can get a good idea. This is the 592-49489. I don't know if I can get a good focus on that. There we go. So it's basically the 49489 model. And so we'll take a look again. We have a really nice stainless steel drum, and they call this the jewel drum. I believe it's a very nice drum, and there's a real good reason for that if you look it up. But it's supposed to be very good for your clothes and the proper drainage and everything. So that's the drum. It's a 5.0 cubic foot washer. So it has your insert here. So basically you'd put your soap, fabric softener on the right hand side, bleach at the front, and then you have an extra dispensary for if you use cycles that include a pre-wash. So that's how that pre-wash kind of dumps in immediately. So that's that. One thing you'll have to notice, it uses very little soap. As you see the maximum there, you won't have to put much soap in this. So it's a very efficient washer. Saves you a lot on soap. Very good washer. I can attest to that, having used it for 3 years now. It is made by Samsung. So it's a Kenmore Elite. And it's made by Samsung. So it does have a door, but I'll let you know that the door is not reversible, so that's just something to note. Although any Kenmore dryer is above, as I previously reviewed, which I does have reversible doors, so I believe any kind of dryer will reverse the door to match. So here we are with the Kenmore washer and its features. Let's see what we got here. So you have basically normal wash, heavy duty, stain away, sanitize, bedding, deep steam, permapress, activewear, delicates, whites, wool, express wash, rinse and spin only. There's also a number of settings here like extra rinse, extended spin, eco drum clean, which is really cool actually. The eco drum clean, you can't see it there, but this is a cycle to basically sanitize and clean your washer when there's no clothes in it. So I don't know if everybody's ever been familiar with the mildew smell that could build up on these things sometimes. You won't have that problem with this washer, provided you always leave the door slightly open, or anyway, every once in a while you can run this eco drum clean, and what it does is it runs steaming hot water for like 4 hours, and then it cleans out and sanitizes your machine, which is kind of neat. That's kind of cool. So you'll never have that issue of having the smelly buildup on your washer. Not to mention clothes that sit there after they finish washing won't get that smell because you just don't have any bacteria in there to generate that. So it has an extended spin. That's a really cool feature. I like that one there because I like to spin my clothes, but I don't necessarily want to abuse them. So by doing an extended spin, it just makes the spin longer period of time, which allows you to kind of pre-dry it. Makes it easy for hanging or using a dryer or whatever. So it also has speed clean. This is really cool. It works on only certain cycles, but say on the normal cycle, you can like literally, we'll show you how. It'll cut the time. So if a normal cycle is normally 45 minutes, if you use speed clean, it drops it down to 36. Very useful in the heavy cleaning mode because you can take an hour and 43 minute and drop it down to 128. And it does a lot of, so it basically drops down the time of various cycles. And the way it does it is it does have some sort of a extra spray nozzle that it uses. And some people, you have the option to use it or not to use it if you think, in your opinion, it's not useful for you. You prefer a longer clean cycle for whatever reason. The stain away is pretty good. I have used it, and it does remove stains. So if you have some nasty stains on some clothes, if you use the stain away, I believe it's a very good, and it only uses warm water, and it has a way of removing stains. So it's pretty good in that sense. Now sanitize, I believe that uses extra hot water. And so that's very good too. I've used that, and it's great for sanitizing things that you want to sanitize. Bedding is very nice for doing your comforters, bed sheets, and all this stuff. Permapress is good for those dress shirts and stuff like that. Even the deep steam cycle is pretty cool if you want to steam. But remember, to do that, you're using high heat. So, but it's pretty nice. And you got the active wear cycle, which is really great for the jogging clothes and the gym clothes and the jackets with zippers and stuff like that. And then, of course, you got delicates, which is fantastic, whites, and even a wool cycle. So that's pretty good. You have your express wash, which starts at 25 minutes. This is very convenient. You could really, I think you can even trim this down a little further. I don't know. I think 25 is the lowest time that this thing can. You can wash clothes in 25 minutes under the express. You also have a button for steam to add steam to, say, like the normal cycle. You can press the steam and it'll add that to the cycle. Of course, the temperature will increase. The one great thing about this washer is it's fully customizable mostly. So you can adjust, basically here it looks like your heat from cold to cold, eco warm, hot, and extra hot. And depending on the cycle, some cycles may not have that. Maybe that's for heavy duty, the extra hot, right? So to see, or maybe that's for like staying away, or it might be for like that might be deep steam. I don't know. Hard to say, but anyway, yeah, that might be actually for sanitize. So it fully customizable, depending if some of the automatics are just not made for it, but pretty much fully customizable depending on your automatic setting. One thing I do like about this is the eco warm setting, which you'll see here. This one here, well, if you have clothes that say might not be tolerant of hot or warm water and you're really concerned, I guess people used to use warm water for such a thing, but now there's an even setting that's below warm called eco warm, which is probably rarely ever going to damage any clothing that doesn't like hot water. So the eco warm is good, and it does save you energy. It's a very low warm water setting for when you want a little bit of warmth but you don't want to damage your clothing. So not bad. You can also adjust your spin speed, and one neat thing here you'll have is the no spin. So if you have something that you do not want to spin, you can do the no spin. So that's not bad. You can like literally pick no spin. Then you can also do low spin, and then medium spin. So maybe you got some clothes that you want to have a pretty nice good spin on it, so it's almost dry, but you don't want to damage them, so you go medium here, and you got a medium spin setting. So that's pretty good. And of course, you have 5 settings here for lightly wash, depending on the soil level. So you can go normal, medium, high, and heavy. So that's pretty good. So it's really a great washer, a great steam washer made by Kenmore. I believe made by Samsung. Down here you have, I don't think I can open it up just quickly. You need a flathead screwdriver, but it's not necessary to show you. But you got this door, and when you open up this door, what happens? There's a spot there to drain any dirt or lint or stuff that collects in the washer that can't disappear, like somehow gets into the washer. It's like where you can empty out the garbage that manages to get through the holes of the washer out the drain. But so it all comes down here. So it's like a filter that catches stuff, and so once every couple months you drain that out, and it's neat. So you open that up, and there's a little screw thing, and then you pull it off. You can drain excess water and dirt and crap, hair that it collects, stuff like that. So it's a pretty good washer. It is stackable. You'll notice that I have 2 different colors, washer and dryer. I'll explain the reason for that. I bought the washer 3 years ago, but I bought the dryer just recently. So the red one is no longer available in that color, so that's the reason I have 2 different colors anyway. But I wanted to buy a dryer that could stack, so this is totally compatible. They're both Kenmores, and they stack on top of each other with the SKK 7A kit. Trying to see if there's anything else I could show you on this washer. I don't think there's much else to tell you. It's a very good quality washer, although I'll have to say that I did, after having it for 9 months, there was something wrong with it, and apparently Samsung fixed it under the warranty. Turned out the motherboard needed to be replaced on it. And I thought, that's really odd. And so that's something to be concerned about. But they did replace that motherboard, and since then I've not had one problem with this washer. There's another thing to note. I think if you look, and this is probably one thing to note, is that I believe this washer is made in China. So that's just something to note. So we have that. But other than that, ever since my 9-month warranty repair, I've had it for 3 years now, and this thing has run perfectly. So I do recommend that when you buy any washer of today's technology with all this computer stuff, that you do get the extended 5-year warranty, because that's what I did, and it's a good idea. Just because there's just too much to go wrong, but there's a lot of features, and there's a lot you can do with this. Just so you know, you can actually pause a wash here, so that's kind of cool. If you want to throw another thing in, it depends on what stage you are in the wash. If you're on a stage where you can actually throw something in, it will allow you to do it. It'll unlock the door and let you throw it in. So that's a kind of a neat feature. I believe also the dryer does that too. It has the pause feature, so it's not a bad feature. It's a very good washer, very good look to it. I like the design of it. So that's pretty much ends this review. I'm just seeing if there's anything else. I don't think there really is. I think I still have the Inner Guide sticker, so if that helps anybody, there's the Inner Guide sticker. Tells you a little about its energy. There was one on my dryer, but I seem to have lost it. If I can find it, maybe I'll update you guys on that. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Once again, everything here pretty much fully adjustable between spin speed, heat, and soil level. Pretty cool. The extra rinse is really good if you want to you want to soften your clothes with fabric softener, but you don't want too much smell left behind or it bothers your skin. So you can do an extra rinse, and it's just good for things that you want to have an extra water go through it. If you've got allergies or whatever, things like that. It does have a delay start feature, and I do like that. You can delay start, I believe, up to, let's see, almost more than 8 hours, I think. So that is actually goes, I think, about, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 24 hours. So you can delay start this thing for a whole 24 hours, which is really convenient. I have used that feature many times. Sometimes I don't want to have a load sitting there, like if I go out. So if I know when I'm coming home, I'll program it to start an hour or two before I get home, so that when I get home I can to unload it. Same as when you go to bed, maybe you want to do that last load, but you don't want to have it sit there all night. So you can program it so that it'll be done by the time you wake up in the morning. So that's a very good feature. Once again, Kenmore, made by Samsung. Very good washers, and I've compared this to actually some Samsung washers, and I find that when Kenmore gets them made by Samsung, they tend to get a few extra features put in there. And I'm surprised Samsung will allow this to happen, but they may not care because they're still selling a washer, just under a different name. So the Kenmore tends to have that competitive advantage, and whenever they produce, I notice these appliances, that they get them produced by these other companies, that when you compare them to the actual company's other products, they have this extra one or two features, which is kind of neat. So that pretty much explains it. So that'll end this review. If you have any questions, just post them in the comments. Maybe I'll update it next time I do a load so you can see it in action. It also allows you to turn the drum light, this one here, when you're washing, so you could actually wash what's going on. It has this double button thing here, although it's hard to, I don't know if I can do this right now. So you can, while you're washing, you can turn on the light. So, it also has a child lock so your kids can't open it, which is important to have, in case you don't, you have kids who are going to jump in there. So it's got a lot of features. It does a good job. It is Energy Star rated. So I would recommend it. It is so available, I believe, at Sears. And you probably get a good price on it because it seems Sears is clearing a lot of their appliances out right now. I know this dryer, for instance, I got for 750 Canadian dollars. So I think this washer, though, when I bought it 3 years ago, was in the range of about $950 Canadian. Can't recall exactly though, but anyway, very good one. They're worth the money. They stack well. So that pretty much ends the review. Have a great day, and once again,